welcome to your Friday's episode of Loose Mandem. I am back in the hot seat again, which is a nice feeling to be in. As you lot watching will have to get used to it, as me and Kamaar both take turns to host you guys, which we love. So coming up in the next 40 minutes, we will be discussing all things Black Lives Matter, from the movement and the corporation behind it, to stereotypes and facts. So sit back and grab something to drink or eat, because that's today's Loose Mandem. But first, stereotypes of races has been used for comedy. However, there are stereotypes which undermine and distance people, a particular race or culture, from other races. These stereotypes can be used in harmful ways, creating unrealistic expectations, whether high or low. So the question for this segment is, are stereotypes degrading for all races? What do you think, Kyle?
I think a lot of the time it depends who's saying it, but my firm opinion is not really. I think there's a lot of films you can watch which prove this. I think you can. I think people are as dumb as we think they are, and we know when something is malicious, and we know when something is truly trying to attack someone with stereotypes. But most of the time, what we've seen is usually light-hearted jokes, but it can be done wrong. I think some great cases of it being done correctly would be Tropic Thunder, the greatest film of all time, with Robert Downey Jr. playing a black person, but he wasn't playing a black person. He was playing a white person playing a black person.
But here's the thing on that. Recently, there have been a lot of, well, not recently, but in recent years, there were like a couple of people who were like, oh, we should cancel our DJ for, portraying a black person. But again, it's not true, because he was playing a white person.
The point of that role is that it's wrong.
Exactly. See, not a lot of people can get away with that nowadays.
But it begs the question, is it the actor's fault or is it the studio's fault? You can't cancel the actor for doing what he's been told to.
Yeah, job, innit?
Cause we know, if we're told this is what to do for the role, we have to do it. We can't exactly be like, no, we're not allowed. With stereotypes as a whole, my entire view is it can be good, it can be funny, it can be pretty comical, but then on the other hand, when it's consistently done and constantly done all the time, it kind of comes to a point where it's like, there's no need to use that as your main source of humour. If your entire point of your entire plot is that black people are like this, it's pointless. But if there's a few light-hearted jokes scattered around, it's pretty great. As you said, Tropic Thunder. The entire point was that it's wrong, and that made it satirical. Whereas there'll be other things where it's just there's no point in having the characters do that. There's the older films where the only roles a black person would get is if they were one a house slave in one of them, or they were playing an impoverished character. And then whenever it comes to any film regarding a black person, it's never, oh, this black person's doing some heroic shit. The black person is just straight up getting out of the ghetto and becoming a pro basketballer. It's come on, bro.
Those are damaging stereotypes. yeah.
It's
there's a big difference between stereotypes like that where they're not played on or anything. They're just what the characters are, and it's I think that's a good point actually. It's very clear when the stereotypes, which is just that they are the stereotypes and they're the characters, and then there's playing into stereotypes, which I think then it's okay. When it's characters that just are those stereotypes, it's hard to discern whether it's a joke or not. But if it's playing into it and it's exaggerated, then I see no issue with it, because then everybody can agree. Obviously, that's not what black people, white people, Asian, not what they're like. But when you do it subtly and it's just the character, then it becomes an issue.
Yeah, it's have you seen the film White Men Can't Jump?
Yeah.
Yes.
Funny film. That's a clear case of stereotyping being used right. Because it's
correct.
But then there's other films, let's say for instance, I think it's gone blank. We'll use the Gone with the Wind.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Very loved film. It's a great film. It's not a bad film, but it's just the way they portray the black people in it. It's just kind of sus. And then on the
kind of sus.
Kind of sus, bro.
No, but you're right. Sometimes it's used as a joke. I think when it's used as a joke, I don't think it's very damaging because I don't think people are. I think people are smart enough to know it's a joke.
Yeah.
But you got some people who are, not as smart, and then to us black people think, that's sensitive to us because I'm in the middle with you too. Some may be, funny, and then some are, insensitive, and then you got some may think it's funny, and then to us black people we think, oh no, why did I say that? I've got one stereotype here, what's been used, throughout the centuries, and you probably know this, Solomon. Blacks are criminals, and an example of this, that is blacks fill up the jail, which, maybe they do, but that's not every black people. That's not every black individual. That's for example, in the UK now, yes, in London there may be, a lot of black people because, it's like for example Hackney, there's a lot of black people, then Asian people, and then white. But this depends where you are situated in. If you're situated in an area with a lot of black people, or there's a lot of white people, a lot of Asian people. It's do you get what I mean? But for example, in London, like I said, Hackney, maybe blacks fill up the jail because they they may associate with themselves with bad people, do drugs whatsoever. But in terms of me and you, Sol, we may be they may say to us, oh, you're criminals, but they don't know us, and they don't know our background and what we've done, because we were good. We haven't gone to jail before. We haven't got a criminal record, touch wood. That's what I think.
There is also, on top of that side of things, stereotyping, it benefits, and then at the same time it just doesn't. And with what you said, with all black people as criminals, it's also like some come across as light-hearted jokes, but they've got deeper rooted meanings.
Yes.
Like there's the black people can't swim. That stereotype irritates me the most out of all of them, because it's like people argue, oh yeah, it's because black people have more dense bones. But then, on the other hand, it's also been used a lot to describe how black people, when they were thrown to boats as slaves, they just sank. And it's like certain stereotypes may be seen as jokes, but at the same time, they're just kind of awful. And you can use the logic, not all, but as we've seen with literally everything, if you ever say, yeah, but it's not all of this, you're clearly in the wrong, which is wrong. But it comes to a point where you need to understand the difference between a joke, a stereotype, and then an insult that's hidden as a joke.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what the issue with stereotypes
But
is.
even then, it's you can't. I mean, I agree. In society in general, there are lots of people who often buy into stereotypes. Even people of that specific stereotype will buy into it because they've been around it so long that they believe it, which is unfortunate. But a lot of one of the biggest ones is black people. Black men have abnormally large.
Yeah.
penises.
Yeah.
Which is,
I mean.
Exactly. And one thing I want to add on, Solomon,
Slamming on the ground.
people, who are non-black, seen as black people as a fetish, as a sexualize them, they got you got what I mean, and that I think that needs to cut out. If you love a black person, you love them for who they are, not because they've got big muscles and have a deep voice or like that. You get what I mean? And other stereotypes here. Black men would be more linked to change than a white man, which is, I'm half and half with that one. Everyone, don't associate black people as criminals or as dangerous, because all people, white people, Asian people, Chinese people, are dangerous as well.
It's not just that. I mean, it's the actual people themselves buying into it, which is a big cause, which is actually prolonging the whole stereotype things. Because if the people themselves actually say, yeah, we've got all of this because of the stereotypes, more people will believe it outside of the race as well. So it's not really a direct way. It's it's just created, and then you've got stereotypes, and it's the actual people themselves who believe it as well.
Yeah,
which unfortunately, again, not just black people, but Asians, white people, so many people of many different races have to go through this, and it's whether realizing, because not every person's the same, everybody's different.
Exactly. Yeah.
So again, if it's a case of black people, yes, not all black people eat chicken. Not all black people have this or that. Not all Asian people are really great at maths, etc.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing.
But one thing I want to add on to that, so if you're from, like, I'm going to use the example from America, and that predominantly area is full of black people, and you've got one white person on there, and a lot of black people in that area are criminals, are dangerous, you're going to think, black people are dangerous because I've seen a majority of black people in that area doing criminal and dangerous stuff.
But to add on to that, I mean, you could be, let's say, okay, let's use that for example. Okay, you're in a majority black area and there's like 1 or 2 white people there. You are more likely to associate yourself with the black community because they're the majority. Therefore, you're going to take more characteristics from them. Sure, other people outside of that community may be like, oh, white acting black. Okay, that's fair. But ultimately, it's not them acting black. It's just what they were brought up with.
Then it also comes to the thing, it's like, what constitutes as acting black? Because I know we've all joked around people not being black, and like, we've all joked about it. But like, what actually constitutes that? Like, you can't really put like a set like description. You can't like, oh yeah, you have to like chicken, you have to like this, you have to like this, you have to like this. Otherwise, you are not black. And it's like, those are the stereotypes which are harmful to black people. Because say for instance, you're a vegetarian black person who grew up in a family where the parents weren't as like disciplined, so the parents didn't beat them. And they also grew up in a household where they were taught, oh yeah, we don't do this, we don't associate with this, but that's what loads of other black people associate with. You can't instantly describe them as not black, and that's like my major issue with stereotypes, because I know what we're all I'm guilty of it, like going, oh yeah, you're not black enough, just like as a harmful joke, but like on reflection, if you deep it, it's kind of not right, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I mean, Carl, what's the final thought on this one?
I think I just sat and listened there. I think, with being a white man, there's I can't really speak to what black stereotypes do to the community. I can't really speak to that. What I can speak to is that I think when it comes to the media itself, I think almost every stereotype has been done in the media.
Yeah.
And
thank you. Yeah.
And I don't think it's a targeted issue. It's I think if we're gonna tackle, stereotypes, should they be in it or should they not? It's more of just a generality, because every stereotype's been done. There's so many movies where it's about white people, being
scared.
Yeah, just that's what it is. It's like the white dude in high school is the jock. You know what I mean? And that's the stereotype of the all-American man. I think that's another stereotype that I can say is quite annoying. So I think depends what your joke level really is. Like I've never personally had an issue, but then again, maybe there just aren't as many stereotypes of white people as there are black people.
Like stereotypes.
That is fair.
There's like stereotypes regarding your name. Sorry.
No,
then there's like stereotypes regarding your name. You're like,
Kyle.
It's like
the name Kyle is a backwards hat wearing, sleeveless shirt,
Wall
Monster
punching.
Energy drink in hand, punching walls.
Then I can argue my one's called Tracy.
Right.
That's an English name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not my name's. I don't know where my names come from, but all of my family have got English names and English surnames as well. Like my auntie's, I got my auntie called Janet. Fairly English names. You got what I mean?
Yeah, I think.
Well, I know. I mean, I would love to continue this conversation.
Yeah, we have to move on.
So that's it for our discussion. But please stay tuned because after this break we will be discussing more on Black Lives Matter subject, and we will be playing a game of Loose Mandem. Just guess the picture. See you in a minute. Welcome back, nice to see you again. Still to come, all our panelists, including me, will be playing a game of Loose Mandem, just guess the picture. Hopefully these lot can recognise what I'm drawing, so again that's a comment on my drawing skills. So up in the next 16 minutes though, we'll be talking about the controversial topics surrounding Black Lives Matter, whether it is the movement and the corporation, or if it's helping people. The political organisation started in 2013 and has since continued to combat against the incidents of racially motivated violence. It has even led to cases of police departments being defunded. Lives and jobs were lost and many are suffering. All that leads me onto is this debate question, which is the Black Lives Matter organisation here for the people? Now, Jermayne?
Hola, Kyle. So, there is a lot of arguments around the Black Lives Matter organisation that they are inherently corrupt and communists that are feeding into the democracy, all the democratic parties, which is just wrong. Because like the organisation started in what 2013 was it or 2016?
Yeah, 2013.
2013. Then like everything has been inherently peaceful. Like there's been no like outrage about like the protests up until of recent years. There was the incident in 2016 when that person drove that car into the neo-Nazis drove the car into them.
Mm-hmm.
But like the major like controversy has come from 2020 and the violent protests. And then there was like all the arguments about apparently how if you donate to them, you're donating to the Democratic Party through like the actually website. But like that was debunked ages ago because like it was their whole if you look in the website you get an option either donate to them or not. And people like try to villainize the leaders of the BLM movement who themselves have said, well, we're not the leaders. We don't want to be the leaders of the movement because it's a movement. But it's not like a government. It's not a government ordained party. It's just a movement. It's what like a bunch of people organise to do. And then it is for the people, but people are mixing helping black people with police violence to helping black people with everything. The organisation is targeted at specific things. It's not targeted at the entire of the black community, and that's what people are forgetting, and that's why it's been vilified.
Okay, what do you think about that, Kyle?
I'm not a fan of groupthink. I think Blue Lives Matter is dumb. I think a lot of it is dumb. I'm not a big fan of organisations. I like Peter. I'm not a big fan of groupthink, although they do help. Personally, I think when you're a part of a group or when you have a group like BLM, it makes it harder to question certain aspects of a group because people take it personally. I don't see that much wrong with BLM, but questioning it, people take that personally. Let's question this government, everybody's fine with that. Let's question this organisation. People are part of that organisation who are related to that organisation take it personally, and I understand why, but that's why I don't like groupthink. I think I'm a very individualist. I think multiple people can agree on the same things, but once you start having a group, it's harder to find those minute details that you all disagree on, and that's just something I don't like. I think its aims are good, but I'm not a big fan of a group being formed. I also take issue with BLM. You know, there's like all lives matter, just as dumb. I think it's a protest to a protest. Very, very silly. There's no reason for it to exist. But it just when you make a group, it causes other groups to form. And I think if we lived in a more individualist world, that the anger between groups would be a lot less, as people would see the differences. And I just think groupthink causes more anger between people, and I think that's why a lot of people have an issue with BLM, not because of what it stands for, what it's trying to do, but because you're not allowed to question it, or if you even slightly disagree with something within it, you're not allowed to be a part of it at all.
Even on that, it's like you have the slogan Black Lives Matter. You have the organisation. Obviously, people will connect the two, and therefore, if you were to disagree with that, it's like you're disagreeing with the actual slogan.
Yeah, that's the issue. That's like it's such a. I don't see anyone innocent. I don't see the world as an innocent place. I think it's easy to go, Black Lives Matter is a good thing. But I think everybody in power, anybody who's able to make change, I don't trust any of it. And I think Black Lives Matter is a great name because it's hard to then say, I disagree with Black Lives Matter. Because you have to say, I disagree with Black Lives Matter. It's a very good name.
Exactly.
And I think if it was a more correct name, like specific to what it's, like you said, it's not for all, it's on a specific, police brutality, then maybe that's why so many people have an issue with it.
Okay, come on. What do you say in response?
Well, I'm 50-50. I think it does help, and I think it does help. But what I want to say is to viewers at home, we're not jumping on the bandwagon about talking about Black Lives Matter. It's past, but it's an ongoing conversation that we'll have now and then in future times. But what I want to say is what if you don't know what the Black Lives Matter organisation is about, it says its mission is to eradicate white supremacy and build local power to intervene in violence inflicted on black communities. And that was from the Black Lives Matter website, actually. And this is a source from Market Watch. BLM raised more than $90 million in 2020. And I'm just thinking, that's a lot of money, but I can't see where it's gone to. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
90 million is a lot of money. And I'm just thinking, where has it gone to? Yes, I know you do help your, little groups who are starting up to, like Black Lives Matter organisation. I know you'll help them, but you'll still have money left. You get what I mean? 90 million is a lot of money. And this...
Yeah. Sorry to cut you, Jermayne.
The issue with raising money, because I've done charity work in the past, but the issue with raising money is, no matter what you raise money from, you won't directly see the effects of the money you've raised, because they're raising black power, so they might be working. Like I've gotten the specific source, nor do I have any concrete evidence on this, but with that money, you can use it to combat against specific things. You can use it to combat against homelessness, the food crisis that they have in America. Because America's got a really bad crisis with the economy at the moment. There's either you're rich or you're poor. There's no middle class. So it's to combat stuff like that. That's like the thing. And you can't tell where it's gone anywhere, because there is no way to tell specifically where the money's gone to.
But I'm on about in terms of the black community. I know there's black homeless people, but in terms of what Black Lives Matter is, I know about, we should help the homeless, yeah. But what Black Lives Matter is all about, like I said, to eradicate, white supremacy and inflict on intervene in violence inflicted on black communities. So, I get what you're saying about the homeless people. Yeah, they may help that, but the Black Lives Matter, like I said, intervenes with the violence, but there is 90 million of that. Obviously, they'll give shares out to people, homeless people, homeless black people, housing support. But in terms of violence, though, I don't see where the hell's
there's no way. Well, then either way, how do you propose they show their money? Because they're not going to.
They don't need to show their money.
But what I'm just going to say now, sorry I cut you. It says it marks the first time in the movement's 8 years history leaders have revealed their finances. So why has it been? So why have they revealed last year's, finances, and not the 8 years since it started?
Probably because this is the first year we've seen.
Yeah, it's probably a big milestone for them.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, sorry, Cal.
I think it's more the fact that this is the first year where, media-wise, it's been a very right versus left situation, and I think this is the first, last year and this year and even 2019 were the first few years that BLM was becoming a lot more popular, and with that, a lot more critics. And best way to, if a critic says, okay, where's this money going? You show your finances. But with the whole homeless thing and that, I don't know if that, it's nice to say they could be going to there, but I'd rather just know where it's going.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of just saying,
not knowing where it's going.
Yeah, I'm glad they get funding. I'm glad people feel like they're getting to support something. But just saying we're combating white supremacy, that's
very vague.
That's a vague.
Yeah.
White supremacy is like a massive bubble filled with 1,000 different things you need to tackle, and just saying we're going to fight white supremacy doesn't really fix many of the problems that you're trying to fix.
And
It's
like,
such a specific yet vague thing.
And like I said, there's no way you can track where the money goes. There is zero way, because like this is like with all charities, they say their mission statement, but after they get their money, it is up to them what they do with it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I
agree with that, and I should show proof where it has actually gone, because, like I just said, first time in the movement's 8 years history, leaders have revealed their figures, their financial figures. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, why now? I know, obviously, the whole George Floyd situation, you know, the Black Lives Matter, but you should have done that since it was started anyway. And like what Solomon, you know, we had a discussion about this. Where do you think the money's gone? I think it's gone in some of those leaders' pockets as a bonus.
Yeah.
It is. I think that. I mean, that is a good point. I mean, you obviously, because we don't know it, we put money towards it. Again, it was intentionally supposed to be for a good cause, but ultimately we don't know where it's gone. But you can say that with quite a lot of things.
Yes. Yeah.
You can say that with quite a lot of things. It's just because this has been so much in the media, so much, right? That's horribly phrased, by the way. But because this has been in the media so much, you know, our attention to that has peaked.
Yeah.
We want to know where our money's going.
Yeah, exactly.
Because on the news it's been, black people are dying on the streets, black people getting killed by police brutality, blah 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 blah. But if we don't know if that's where that's going in terms of like helping them.
Exactly, that's what I mean. But so one thing I know we're running out of time, but I just want to read quickly. Co-founder Patrice Cullors told the foundation is focused on a need to reinvest into black communities, but I don't see that happening. BLM UK said it's giving 600,000 funded to grassroots groups across the country, including people that organised last summer anti-racism protests, which I think, give some money to them, and then don't put some money in your pocket as your rate for it. Like, where's all this funding? I'll put some in my pocket and I'll leave some there. You know what I mean? But you know, like organisations like Oxfam, it'll show you like a statistic of, you know, how much percentage of where that money of what they funded, of all the donations, where, you know, the amount of percentage where that goes to what category, like to close books, food, you know what I mean?
You see stuff like, not with charities, but you see, it can't be hard for them to show where everything's going.
Exactly, and it's taken 8 years. Like,
I know. It's easy to say.
BLM that's got that going on.
That's what I mean. I'm just saying, just because other people are doing it doesn't mean they.
I'm not justifying it. I'm saying, like, if you're going to scrutinise them specifically, you should scrutinise every charity.
I agree with that, and I agree. But
ultimately, again, gonna have to cut it short.
Yeah.
But I mean, just one final statement from each one, all of you in terms of that. Just one final statement.
I'll go first. Well, I think they should, you know, help, you know, with more in terms of the black community, and just do more Black Lives Matter communities and organisations, and in the UK as well. Okay. Just please,
Carl?
I don't like groupthink, and I don't believe BLM and even other organisations that go against BLM are doing as much good as they think they're doing.
I think it's doing well for the community. It's giving people a voice, and I just think it's pointless to vilify an entire organisation based on niche things like the money, as well as the specific individuals in the party, which are harming it. That's why you can't really vilify entire organisations.
Well, that was a beautiful debate again. But so now after that whole debate, I think we need something to lift our spirits a little. So this Friday, we think we should start this drawing game, I think.
Whatever you do, don't draw BLM.
Just don't draw
a penis.
But it should be fun though. And so typically it's going to be so I'll be drawing a picture maybe based off a TV show, maybe draw off a film, and it may be an object, but you'll have to guess. I will give you 2 clues just in case you're struggling, but that's typically what's going to happen.
Cool.
Okay? I've just drawn a few.
Already?
Hopefully you
Simon,
can.
why did you draw the N-word?
And remember, tell them guys can see it at home before us.
Oh, I mean, obviously you guys will be able to see it at home as well. But yes, that's right. This was still recorded, and you will be able to see it at home. And if you are able to guess it correctly, then obviously you'll be fine. But yeah, so if you guess it correctly, you'll get a point. If you don't, then obviously you don't get a point. Because if you're past, then you don't get a point. Simple as. But anyways, I'll tell you like the category or like the genre or whatever, and you have to guess. Okay. So the first one is based off of a film or film franchise. All right. Right.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Point.
Yes.
Oh, I couldn't even say.
Right.
Bro, that pencil is so light.
Yeah,
oh,
it's
there
so
we go.
light.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, sorry.
But yeah,
Okay.
this was supposed to be a pirate hat, by the way. There we go. But yeah, okay. This one is based off of a popular song.
Oh, no, we're not.
Kamaar should know this one. If you don't,
Yeah.
and Jermayne, you should know this one. In fact,
I won't.
you should know this one.
I
so-
won't. I'm white.
Straight to the views.
Pathetic, but yes,
I
right.
won't.
Let's see if you can get that. Okay.
What Jermaine, you at?
Three Little Birds by Bob Marley.
Wow.
Oh, you idiot!
Wow.
It's because you don't matter.
Yeah, it's 'cause I'm built different.
You had time to see it. That's another one. Okay.
I don't
This
have my
one's
glasses
based-
on.
This one is
Handicapped.
based off a film.
Bro, I don't-
Kyle, you should get this one.
Yo, everybody show up so I can
Don't
at least get
this
1 point.
Pathetic. All right.
I'm not gonna get it.
You are.
I'm not.
Okay.
Jermaine,
Get
move your
closer.
hair.
Get
COVID
closer.
regulated.
COVID? No, it's fine. Straight.
Captain America.
Fucking hell.
Point.
You know what? I'll just sit down.
So,
I'll get
you
to
are
it there,
you
why
like
not?
the famous white boy.
Dude, that's my only
Alright.
knowledge in the world.
This
Just
is the last
superheroes.
one for now because I cannot possibly draw up even more at this point. But this should be an easy one.
About to win.
Alright, go on.
What do I get for winning?
Okay.
A kiss.
Okay. Get closer.
No, I can sing from here.
You sure?
Yeah.
You positive?
Go on.
All right.
Doctor Who.
Got the point.
Is it bad, right? When I saw that, I didn't think Doctor Who. I thought something else. I thought Twin
Don't
Towers.
Okay.
I saw 2 towers. That's
We
what I
have,
first thought.
run out of
Skyscrapers,
time
you know what
for
that
today's
equals.
show. I hope you all enjoyed it and learned something as well. I want to thank Kyle, Jermaine, and Kamaar for joining me and sharing their views bravely. Also, do not forget to like, share, and comment on our posts, and we would love for you to follow, subscribe on all social media handles which are on your screen right now. We'll be back on next week, Monday, so we will see you then, and remember to tell all the mandem and yell them about Loose Mandem.